So after I already reviewed and played the first 3 Far Cry games, I continued my journey and played Far Cry 4, which I finished a couple of days ago. And after having so much fun with Far Cry 3, the bar was set really high for this game. So in today's video I want to discuss if Far Cry 4 is worth it 9 years after its release and whether you should play it or not. So just like the first 3 Far Cry games, Far Cry 4 is also an open world first person shooter game. And you assume the role of Ajay Ghale, who is a young man who returns to his homeland to fulfill his mother's final wish. And already in the first minutes into the game, you and Ajay become embroiled in a brutal civil war between on one side the oppressive regime of Pagan Min, who is also one of the more known antagonists of the Far Cry series, and the rebel group known as the Golden Path. And one thing that was already very much different from the first 3 games was the setting of Far Cry 4. Now, as you know, the first 3 games are set in more tropical landscapes. You know, in the first and the third one, you're on a tropical island, and the second game is located somewhere in Africa. And Far Cry 4, for the first time, tried a different route. Now, the game is based in the fictional Himalayan country of Kyrat, and the open world of the game really is one standout aspect of Far Cry 4. You know, the open world is very immersive and stunning. Now, the open world may be big, but it doesn't feel overloaded. You know, it feels like the right size for such a map. Because it has beautiful landscapes with towering mountains and very diverse wildlife that actually gives you space to hunt. And I really have to compliment the attention to detail in the game, because they created a sense of realism and authenticity, and it feels like it could actually be a real place. And on the game we have some new gameplay mechanics. Like in the third Far Cry game, you have a lot of ways to move from one place to another. Like, for example, you can fly, you have your wingsuit that you can use almost anywhere if you're a little bit elevated, and you can obviously drive cars, drive boats, and even ride elephants, which was very cool to see. And now in the open world there are a lot, let me tell you, a lot of side activities. You know, but the game did motivate you more to actually do those things. Like, for example, one side activity is where you have to hunt rare animals. And the good thing about this is that after completion you don't only get a higher amount of XP or more money, you can actually upgrade your equipment only through doing those quests. So if you want to unlock the biggest wallet you can have, you first have to complete a mission where you hunt this rare animal. But there are also some other side activities that become really boring after a time, and I stopped doing them after 2 or 3 completed missions. No, but the gameplay in Far Cry 4 offers a really vast array of options, so the game allows you to approach missions and objectives in various ways. So we again have the enemy outpost, which probably is one of my favorite Far Cry activities to do. And it's up to you whether you infiltrate the outpost and go the stealthy route, whether you utilize long-range sniping, or you can also engage in explosive gunfights, so it's pretty much up to you how you play this game. Now, another very positive point in the game is the hunting. Like, I really loved hunting and it was really fun doing that. Furthermore, because the animals themselves really kind of have their own life. Like, sometimes you might see animals hunting each other, or I very often encountered 2 bears fighting, where after some time one bear killed the other and I could actually skin the bear that got killed. Which is really nice to see that they really interact with each other, what gives the game more realism. Now, another thing that is new in Far Cry 4 are the so-called Shangri-La missions. And they take you to a mystical realm that kind of provides a unique and visually striking experience, but after 3 or 4 of them I really didn't see the point of doing them anymore. So now when it comes to the storyline of the game, I have to say that I didn't really like it. Especially compared to Far Cry 3, the character development for me was really a point of contention, and as I said, especially after playing Far Cry 3 and seeing the character development there, here it was kind of all over the place. Also, within the Golden Path, you can choose one of 2 sides. You can either pick Amita or you can pick Sabal. But for me, both of these decisions were not satisfying at all. Like, for me, both of them kind of were crazy in their heads. And after playing the game, I really believe that Pagan Min was actually the best out of those 3. But I'll make a complete video on that topic, because that's one thought that really interested me a lot. Because at first I was really happy that you can actually make your own choices and decide for yourself which side will win in the end. But after completing the game, I think that one good side would have been definitely better than 2 bad sides. But as I said, the antagonist, Pagan Min, which voice actor is absolutely incredible, really stands out as probably the most interesting figure in the whole game. You know, he's a very charismatic figure, and his unpredictable and sadistic nature really adds tension and intrigue to the overall story. And I think he alone put the story from a 4 out of 10 to a 6 out of 10. Moreover, it's very nice to see how the world reacts to your own actions. Like when you kill 2 of Pagan Min's important people, it tells the country and the people that they decided to run off and what you'll do next. Now if you decide to play this game, one thing that I would really encourage you to do is to save as often as possible, because the game doesn't autosave for like hours. Like there was a point where I literally lost 1.5 hours of game time just because I fell down somewhere and the game didn't save at all. Another thing that I didn't really like and I would like to see improved in the upcoming Far Cry games is that you couldn't really spend your money on anything. Like at one point you just have a couple of millions, and when you've bought all the good weapons, the only thing I was really spending money was replenishing my ammo and replenishing my syringes. But you know, this definitely isn't a big problem, it's just something that I found that could be improved very quickly. But all in all, I think Far Cry 4 is definitely a very good game. Like especially the setting, is definitely my favorite out of the first 4 games. And also the wide range of gameplay options really make the game more engaging and more fun. You know, while the narrative and the character development may not have resonated with me as much, the game was still a very enjoyable experience. And I would recommend it if you haven't played it or if you have played it 9 years ago when it came out. I know I'm very thrilled to replay Far Cry Primal again and review that in an upcoming video. Alright guys, that was it from me today. I hope you have an amazing day and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.